going on, everybody? So I told you we would be having a few videos in a row. Alright, so we started this Jeep project and I want to show you guys what all is wrong with it. So we're going to start with the most obvious, in the fact that the frame is pretty tweaked. That's the underside by where the skid plate goes. So it looks pretty bad. Now, that's not the bad side. Bad side is over here. So for anybody that's into Jeeps, you know that Wranglers are notorious for these issues. So much so that there are several companies that actually make complete replacement panels for this, which is what we got. So we utilize a company called Safety Cap. They actually make an entire lower frame section for the center. It's got all new skid plate bolts. It's got all new skid plate bolt holes and holders and everything else. And then the other thing that we're having to deal with on this particular truck is, I don't know how well you guys will be able to see it, but this frame is cracked all the way up, all the way down, all the way underneath. It's got some pretty serious damage. And then we've got some more stuff going on in the front. Over by the steering box, we have a big crack there that we got to take care of. There's just a lot going on with this Jeep. The exhaust system is screwed. We got some body work that needs to be done. We basically got a big hole in the body right there. We got another hole in the body back there. We got another section of frame in the rear that's fucked. So we got to take care of that. We got some tailgate that's screwed. Little rust spot there. Some more of the rear section of the frame that's screwed. So we definitely got our work cut out for us on this one. So our main concern right now is to get light so we're not blinding each other. Our main concern for right now is to get these center frame sections done and get the skid plate back up properly, and to fix this particular crack right here in the front of the frame. So now when I do these, you'll notice that I lifted these by the body mounts. The reason I lift them by the body mounts is because this center section of the frame here that runs down will usually stay pretty straight if you lift it this way. And if there are any cracks right here, which 9 times out of 10 with these Jeeps, there is a crack that runs right in this area. If you try to lift it from the bottom of the control arm mount, it will actually bend the whole truck upwards in the front and upwards in the rear. So you want to lift it and let the weight of the vehicle settle itself back out, close this crack up, and get you back to basically factory spec. So it's a quick and dirty way just to get everything somewhat back aligned again. Now when this thing came in, it actually looks halfway decent now, but when this thing came in and it was sitting under its own weight, this entire side here was up higher, but this bumper was down lower because the whole frame had twisted, pushed the whole body up and the thing down. So it's still got, I don't know, you can't really tell, but it's still got a little bit of a tweak to it. But we're going to try to rectify some of that by fixing some of these cracks and stuff. So we're going to get to that. I'm not going to film the whole thing because it's a pretty tedious process. But I'll bring you guys in bit by bit, piece by piece, as we start to get things done and we get things cut out, and we'll explain it a little better. So here we go. So we've got the frame open, and now we can see the true extent of the actual damage, which luckily only went up slightly more than an inch. So we're able to keep a good portion of the top structure of the frame, which is awesome. This side is actually pretty good. So we're going to save this behind here is actually pretty good. All this is good, but here's why these things mess up. Now, this was already fixed once. There's a cap on this already for all of these brackets and everything. But this is why these frames fail. Because from the factory, there is no drain system at the lowest point of the frame. However, I don't know if we could see it on the other side, but we'll go check. Yes. So you have this hole right here, which is right next to the wheel. So as your wheel is rotating through its motion, everything that's coming off of the top of the tires hitting the frame and going right into the frame. Now there are no holes. See, this is the factory frame. There's nothing to drain out So it all goes and it sits right where the skid plate mount goes. Right where the skid plate is at is where all of that crap sits. And then ultimately it runs all the way back into here, like we see with this one, and you get a mess. However, the top of the frame is absolutely perfect. So if Jeep had literally just put a drain hole here, a drain hole right here, we wouldn't have any of these issues. But because they decided not to, we have these issues. So we're gonna get to cleaning this frame up, try to get some of this undercoating off of it that somebody put on it, and then we're going to start mocking up the safety cap and see how that fits, because we're gonna have a little bit of an issue with this cap back here, trying to meet everything together, so we'll have to cut that, but we should be good. Well, luckily we were able to save a lot of the frame up here by the front control arm mount right here, so we will be able to kind of integrate things a lot better and make things a lot stronger. Normally they're rotted right up to the control arm mount, so we got lucky on this one. So look at the amazing amount of stuff that came out of just that side of the frame. It goes all the way over to there. There's probably 2 pounds worth of shit on the floor right now. So pretty bad. But anyway, here's what it looks like with the safety cap tacked in place. Actually replaces that whole lower section of the frame. Comes down over here, ties into the body mount, then we'll tie it into the front right here. That control arm mount, will tie it in there. And then also back here, we're going to tie it in with that cap that was put on previously. So we're going to mold that metal a little bit to make it look a little bit better, and then we'll mold that, and then we're going to run some really nice welds all the way through here to make sure that this thing stays in one piece. So big difference. And then even on the inside, replaces the whole inside of the frame as well. So definitely pretty cool. If it'll focus, there we go. So I'm gonna weld this side up, and then we'll move on to the other side. You always want to do one side at a time, because if you do both sides, the body can actually twist. But this thing's so bad anyway on this side, I don't think it would really even matter. But we're still just gonna do one side at a time, and as soon as I get that one fully welded in, I'll bring you guys back and show you that, and then we'll continue. Well, the driver's side is all done. Welds aren't always the prettiest on these things, just because the frame metal is so terrible. But it is welded front to back, all around. And now we tied it in under here to this rear control arm mount. And then we did a little bit of finagling up in here, if it'll focus, please. Or maybe not enough light. Yeah, we did a little finagling in there, and a little bit up in here to try to tie this corner all together, because these are a lot of times where they start to fail, and this part of the frame is actually still really good, so we're gonna leave it just like that. And then we got it all welded on the inside too. Can't really see it because it's too dark, but that's where we're at right now. So what we're doing right now is we're getting the passenger side ready. Passenger side is way worse than I thought it was. So if we run over here and we take a quick look at this, it is, let me see if I can find the light, make this look a little bit better. Alright, so the damage on this actually extends almost all the way up to the upper control arm mount. So you got all this metal right up in here that is super soft. The crack runs all the way up to the top of the frame on both sides. It's cracked here. None of this was connected. I don't know how they were driving this thing. Now with it ground down, you can really see that crack. I don't know how they were driving this thing, but I'm glad it's here now. So we're gonna get this side fixed up, and then we'll come back. Alright guys, so after a couple of days, here's where we are with the Jeep. We got this side panel done. Just put a piece of metal in there. He's actually putting some rocker guards over the side of this whole thing, so you're not even going to see this, but we wanted to make it somewhat decent. So if he really wanted to, a little bit of body filler, a little bit of smoothing, and that would look perfect, but we didn't try for perfection because he's putting the guards on. Now what's left, and I don't know how you're going to see this, but it's kind of dark. Right there, there's a spot, and we're going to grind out some of the shit that's in there and then put a piece of metal in there. And then right next to the e-brake, there's another spot. We're going to try to clean that up as best we can, put a piece of metal in there. And then we got a little bit of frame in the rear section by the trailer hitch. We're just going to put some patches on to strengthen things up a little bit. So hopefully I'll have a finish for you guys. Now this project's been going on about a week or so, just in and out of, you know, doing other work. So we're trying to get it done. We'll have it done today, get everything set. I'll post the video up, and yeah, I'll show you the whole finished product as soon as it's done. Well, here's the finished product. We got the frame in, all primered up. We got a little bit of the floor fixed on the inside. We got side of the truck repaired. Frame goes all the way back here. We stuck a couple small pieces in the rear just to kind of add some strength to an area that wasn't really structural, but those will help kind of fix it up. There's that. New skid plate bolts, skid plates back in, new tranny mount, brand new muffler. So this thing should be pretty good. And then we got the spring bucket perches actually in. Isn't the prettiest thing in the world, but it'll definitely work. So that's all set. So overall, guys, this thing is good. It was a long project, and I didn't really film too much of me actually doing the work on it per se, because it's just really hard to film something like this. It would take me more time to set the camera up and the tripod and everything else than it would to actually do the job. So I kind of wanted to bring you guys along as I was doing it, little by little, to kind of give you an idea of what's involved in it, what, you know, what has to be cut out, what has to be put back in. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, have a wonderful afternoon, night, morning, wherever you are. Thank you.